Chad and Lori Daybell both making their own respective appearances in court this last week as they both prepare for trials in the upcoming months, maybe years, depending how long it all takes. Let's start by talking about the appearance of Lori Vallow Daybell in court this last week. Joining me to discuss, attorney Bob Motta, host of the podcast Defense Diaries. Go and download that. My goodness, Lori Vallow in court this last week. Not, I guess, what I was expecting, but I don't know whatever to expect from Lori Vallow. But she walked in as if she was the queen of the prom and to fanfare, blowing the. I mean, there's just need to be a fan, like blowing wind at her. That's really what it
Yeah.
was like. What was your take on Lori's demeanor as she wandered into that courtroom for that hearing? That's getting ready as they get ready for trial.
She's a psychopath. She's a total
Yeah.
psychopath. The woman has lost her mind completely. Like, I mean, she comes up all gussied up, just laughing it up. Yeah, I mean, she's out of her mind. It's like, I don't know where she gets lipstick, I guess through commissary,
Yeah.
got her hair did, smiling and
Hmm.
laughing as she's walking through the well. I mean, without a care in the world.
Yeah.
She knows. Remember, end of days is coming this next month. So she's ready, T. She's
Yeah.
ready. She's ready. Like she's saved. Remember that. She's one of the 100. So
I,
she's good to go. She was acting like that's coming. And she was really happy
I
about it.
really wonder what's going to happen when it doesn't come. If we're going to see a different demeanor to Lori Vallow Daybell, or is it just going to be kind of one of those? Oops, we were off on days. It's coming up next year.
Yeah, you know what? We'll find out at her trial.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what like we'll know at her trial if she, and the thing is about Arizona is all those folks that want that eye for an eye type punishment, the death penalty.
Hmm.
It's available there. And I'm sure that Idaho would be happy to say, yeah, go ahead, take her.
Yeah.
If she's going to get the death penalty out there in Arizona, we'll find out. Like we will certainly see her demeanor at trial, and we'll also see whether or not at that point, if and when the end of days does not occur, which I'm assuming that it will not, that if she decides, by advice of counsel, to go for some kind of insanity plea, because she's crazy, is a shithouse rat, man. I mean,
It was, I
she
mean,
really is.
watching her, I was waiting her to try and make out with her attorney, Keith Terry, for a moment there. She was giving him the eyes. She was leaning in. We
Yeah.
couldn't see his response at all. I can only imagine it might have been a look of horror. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine trying to advise her on what to do. If you're the attorney for Lori Vallow at this point, what are you saying to her?
Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm calling her counsel that handled it in Idaho and
Hmm.
saying, all right, you dealt with this woman leading into that case. You know, what were you able to get from her in
Hmm.
terms of feedback, in terms of assisting in her own defense? And, as we know, she was blocking her defense out there from taking the strategies that they would have otherwise probably employed
Hmm.
out there. So I would have sought advice from them in terms of how she was acting then and then compare it to how she's acting now and listening to her,
Hmm.
and getting her rationale behind things, behind her decisions, and ultimately, the strategy part of it's supposed to be left to counsel. There's fundamental things that are left within the defendant's sole decision making, and there's things that are left to the attorney in terms of trial strategy. And but if you've got a client that is adamant, says there's no way, like that I'm not agreeing to you employing an insanity defense or some kind of mental defect defense, you're stuck. Because if the client's not going to assist you in moving forward with that, then it's not going to work. And in this case, like I'd be taking a wait and see approach.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Like I like there and I've said it. I said it when I was covering this case in our podcast, and we covered that trial extensively. And it was always my opinion that she believed everything that she was preaching. Like to her, it was real.
Yeah.
Which to me, like I think that she's like deeply mentally ill. I really do. And I think that the things that she believes are true to her.
Hmm.
I mean, she doesn't care what the rest of the world thinks. She thinks that she speaks to the higher ups up there, and that they've given her the good word, and she knows what's happening, and that's it. And it'll be interesting because by that time, her beau there, Chad DeBall, they're searching. They're searching. He'll have had his trial, and we'll know what his fate is.
Yeah.
And I'll
It makes me wonder, are we going to see kind of a different approach here? Because we already did see a statement several months ago basically blaming Lori for everything. And but then that all kind of calmed down. We didn't really hear that argument again. So I do wonder if they're still operating with that strategy, and if in fact it is employed. I wonder, will we see Lori kind of change her ways up a little bit too, if her beau is turned the page and says, no, this ain't true anymore. You're crazy. Maybe I kind of made you crazy. Is she going to walk that back? I'm wondering if she's even capable of walking it back. Is I think
Yeah,
the
I
real
don't
question.
think that she is. I always had her pegged as the puppet master, not Chad.
Yeah.
Chad's a moron. Chad's a goofball. Like
Hmm.
she was actively looking for a dude like Chad
Hmm.
because she needed a partner like that. But like that, no one is convincing me that Lori Vallow was not running that game,
Yeah.
because she was. So like she was running the game. Chad was her trained monkey, like the old Italian guys with
Hmm.
the little music. But I mean, he was like, she took whatever he had written and whatever kind of philosophies he had kind of crafted, and she co-opted them and made them her own. And I mean, she just ran with it.
Yeah.
And he was maybe the front man,
Hmm.
but she was running the game.
Yeah.
Like, I have zero doubt about that. So, and I have zero doubt that that's what his defense is going to be. Another Svengali type defense, that
Uh-huh.
this woman had me like wrapped around her finger, and she used everything in her power, sex, in terms of like just getting me to do her bidding, and she had me under her control, and
Hmm.
that's all I can say. And so I fully intend on that being a part of the defense. In terms of, I again, I haven't seen anything with respect to the only mental defect defense you have out there is saying that, that he had a mental defect that would not allow him to form the requisite intent.
Hmm.
Which again, if he were to try to go in and say, look, like, she had me under her control, and I believed everything that she was saying, and we were feeding off each other, and I believed the kids were demons. I
Hmm.
didn't even believe they were kids, and if you can carve that out of, the homicide statute, because part of the homicide statute is that you have to be ending the life of a human being. If you can get physicians, psychologists, psychiatrists to testify that, he honestly did not believe them to be humans anymore, maybe you prevail on that. But we all know that's never happening.
I can't see a jury
Like,
ever. I mean, I can, from a psychological standpoint, I can understand how one could get that crazy and maybe
yeah,
truly believe that, but I don't think you will ever convince a jury of
no
that,
way.
no matter what.
Zero chance. Zero chance. He's going downtown to Chinatown, man. He's done.
Yeah. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks